Kyle Kessis inside Joe Girardi's office. Joe, after a slow start, looks like you guys are getting it going a little bit. What's the one thing that you think will continue to stay hot? What's the one area of the team that you think will continue to perform well going forward?
Well, I hope all. I mean, that's your hope, that everyone performs well. But, you know, it seems like the bats are starting to pick up a little bit as it gets warmer, and the weather is getting better. And, you know, we hit 5 home runs on Monday night. You know, we had 7 runs against the Red Sox one day. And we're starting to produce more, and there are more guys that are starting to get going. So that should help out.
Yeah, you mentioned the big innings. Is there one guy that you can identify who's kind of been the catalyst?
Well, I think it's just the guys staying on each other and making sure that, you know, you're doing your job. And, you know, it's frustrating when you're not scoring runs and when you look up and you're hitting under 200. I mean, that's frustrating because everyone can see it. So we've tried to just, you know, concentrate on just do your job, focus one day at a time, one at bat at a time, and things will be good.
On the pitching side, you guys have had some really good performances recently. What's been the difference for the starting rotation at the start of May?
Well, I just think they're locating. I think their arm strength is getting there. I think they're more consistent with their stuff. You know, we had some situations where they went 7 days without throwing because of some rainouts, and they're getting a more constant work. And pitchers aren't as sharp in April because they just don't have the innings under their belt and they don't have the feel for all their breaking stuff. But you're starting to see that, and that's making a difference. There's
a lot of excitement in the offseason about the bullpen with Chapman and Miller and Betances. Now that Chapman's back, how does it change the way you manage the game?
Well, it really doesn't. I mean, you just shorten it even more. You shorten it by an inning in a sense. But, you know, Chapman's our closer, and we'll use Miller and Betances. And, you know, the idea was if you can get 6 or 7 good innings out of your starter, you feel pretty good with the back end of our bullpen, and that's still the key.
Coming out of spring training, there was some question as to whether Miller was going to start the year on the DL. He's played through the injury. What do you think about his performance so far?
I mean, this guy has been professional the whole time he's been here, whether it's been he's had to change roles or he adopted a role where he became the closer. He's always prepared and willing to do whatever you want. He's exactly what you want in a player because he's got toughness to him. He'll do whatever you want, and all he wants to do is win. So he's a model citizen.
In the first game of the series against the Red Sox, he's in there in the 9th inning, bases loaded, 1 out against David Ortiz. One of the most tense moments of the season. Did you feel like you learned something about him in that situation?
Well, I really believe in him, in his ability to get outs. And his fastball and breaking ball are outstanding. And, you know, he had to throw a lot of pitches, and he had to grind through that inning. And it just shows you, you know, I talked about he's tough. And he's got physical toughness, and he's got mental toughness. And that's where you saw the mental toughness.
Since Dellin Betances became a full-time major leaguer in 2014, he's been just about flawless. But he had a little bit of a rough patch in Texas and then in Boston. Did you feel the need to say anything to him at that point? And if so, how do you think he's responding?
I let Larry handle that. I knew it was just a blip in the screen and that he would be fine. You know, he's one of the least of my worries, Dellin Betances. And, you know, it just goes to show you that he is human. And you know, we've seen Mariano Rivera, the great Mariano Rivera, blow a couple saves in a row, and you're like, oh, what happened? And that kind of was what the feeling was when Dellin gave up the home runs, but he's back on track.
Now, with Nova taking over with the absence of CeCe, what were your thoughts on his first start?
I thought he did an outstanding job, and to be able to give us that many pitches when I think his high mark during the season was 44, I give him a lot of credit. He worked really hard. His sinker was good, his curveball was good, and they threw some changeups as well, so he pitched really well.
Now, Luis Severino didn't have the start that equaled the end of 2015 for him, but the last few starts it looks like he's made a little bit of an adjustment. 9 strikeouts against the Red Sox. What do you think are the 1 or 2 things he needs to do in order to continue improving?
Well, I think it's just, you know, he has to be a little bit more consistent with his location, and it would help if we could score him some runs. I think he's got 3 runs in 6 starts. I mean, it's hard to win if you only get 3 runs in 6 starts. It's hard to win if you get 3 runs in 1 game, but I think his stuff is continuing to improve. I thought his breaking ball was better against the Red Sox. I thought his changeup was better against the Red Sox. And if he brings that stuff out on most nights, he's going to get a win.
Great. Thanks a lot, Joe. Good luck.
Thank you.
You can see more Yankees on Demand and scoreboard content by clicking here. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel right here.